Hey everybody, it's Brian David Johnson, and we're just wrapping up on a month's worth of work with the Menzies Foundation looking at the future of security and the future of law. And in the work that we've done, it's been very fascinating. I've talked to subject matter experts, we've done workshops with both practitioners as well as the public, and we're really beginning to see some clear trends and threats emerge. Certainly we've seen that the attack plane, the attack surface is getting wider and wider and wider. It'll be a multifaceted way in which threats and disputes could come about. So over the next 10 years, we're going to see a much broader attack surface. We're going to see cyber and cyber social threats, as well as cyber physical and even cyber kinetic threats, which just means that the landscape for disputes and attacks and threats is going to get broader. But at the same time, we're going to see corporations be able to step up and become active members to be able to bring about better security. But we also need to realize that all these threats are going to be running on the systems of these corporations. And so certainly there's some great work to be done there. Now, the thing that I find really interesting in the findings that are coming out is that as we look at the future of the law and what that means to help disrupt, mitigate, and recover from these threats, is that the law itself, as contained, really has a small role to play. Now, a very important role to play, but quite small. But we see these concentric circles of influence coming about, where you have not only just law, but regulation across borders. But then also on top of that, you see norms. How, especially in Australia and in the region, can norms help us create a safer and more productive future? Along with that, we will also start to see collaboration. How can we collaborate? And that, I think, is very important to the role that the Menzies Foundation can play of convening together both public and private, of government and military and academia, to think about how can we all collectively work together to solve these future threats. And then finally, in a much broader circle of influence, we realize that we need to change the culture. We need to change the conversation around these threats. Not just with law, but a conversation even broader with the public. How are we making sure that we're enabling the public to disrupt, mitigate, and recover from these threats? And most importantly, how are we working with the next generation of workforce and the next generation of soldiers, and really empowering the next generation of lawyer to be able to make the best of these futures? Now, we're just finishing up this work, and the next step is we're going to go and finalize a report. And that report will be released before the end of the year. And then we'll come back and we'll talk to all of the people we've worked with and a much broader group of people, really in that spirit of collaboration, to use the report to say, okay, these are the coming threats. Now let's figure out how we can all work together today to make sure that we can secure tomorrow.